snap. Albertini loses it twice. Waverly gets another turnover. Third turnover of the game on the Indians on the snap. Albertini couldn't get the handle, and it goes right back to the Bulldogs. It was snap was a little bit high, but nothing Albertini couldn't handle. Bounced off his hands, landed on the turf. He tried to pick it up and then lost it. Number 64 jumps in there, Johnny on the spot. Decker, the 169-pound senior for Waverly, and gets on the football. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Ball at their own 36.
This is where you start testing some of those character issues. You know, you've been ahead all season long, and now you got some adversity. See how you can overcome that.
Foster up under center, I formation. Foster's going to keep it to the right side. Fakes the pitch, cuts back to the middle. Good run by Foster. And he's going to gain 5 or 6 play. The young sophomore on a good hard run.
Foster's been a good workhorse for Lebo.
2nd down and 5. And they're into Indian territory at the Indian 39-yard line. 2nd down and 5. Not a clean game at all by the Indians so far. Holding penalties. Too many holding penalties and 3 turnovers in a row on the last 3 possessions for the Indians as they kept bouncing back and forth across midfield. Had a 3rd down and manageable and turn it right back over to the Bulldogs. I formation for the Bulldogs. 2nd down and 5. Foster back to pass. Going to scramble off to the right side. He's got a lot of running room. Cuts back to center of the field. Still run hard down to the 18-yard line of the Indians as Foster shows his speed. Unable to contain him and down to the 18-yard line of the Indians. 1st and 10 for Waverly from the Indians' 18-yard line.
Waverly's having some success there on offense. St. Paul, on the other hand, not having any, not able to hold on to the ball. That's the difference right now, I think.
1st and 10 for the Waverly Bulldogs at the Indians' 18-yard line. 10:06 left to go here in the second period. 8-6. Indians up by 2. Split backfield. Foster up under center. Lehman to the right. Wilson to the left. It's going to be a handoff to Wilson off the left side on the straight dive. Short gain on the play. And it's going to bring up 2nd down and 5 for good gain on 1st down. I don't think we have audio on the live stream neither, Mike.
They're down to the 3rd. Yeah, it might be.
I don't think that had anything to do with.
Shouldn't have any effect on it. It shows that we've got it here, so I don't know what the problem is.
2nd down and 7. Split backfield. Cross buck. Going to be hand to Wilson. Wilson Smith tries to drag him down. He gets away from 2. Still running
make
hard.
A tackle there.
And the Indians not able to corral Wilson. He's going to be close to a first down. First and goal for the Bulldogs. At the Indians' 7-yard line, maybe the 8-yard line. Gib Carter moves to nose guard. Wilson Smith defensive end as well as Murillo.
1st down at, what, the 9?
Looks like about the 7 or 8-yard line. Foster up under center, I formation. Hand up. Foster's going to keep it off the right side. Cuts towards the goal line. Stretches. And touchdown, Waverly Bulldogs.
Foster an 8-yard touchdown run there.
I think we're still up on the live stream on the audio, Mike. 8:53 left to go here in the first half. 12-8. Waverly takes the lead. The Indians trail for the first time this season. As Mike said, we're going to test the character of the Indians because Waverly taking it to the Indians right now. We knew there was nothing to overlook. They're well coached, very fundamentally sound, split backfield, young in that backfield. Foster up under center. Wilson goes in motion. Back to pass is Wilson. Going to throw it off to the left side, and it falls harmlessly incomplete. It was intended for Wilson. Waverly with all the momentum, excited, jumping up and down on the sideline, and they have a good reason to be. They lead 12-8 over the Indians of St. Paul. 8:53 left to go here before halftime.
I didn't see Dan. Was that extra point good?
No good.
All right. worrying about trying to get some messages. I know we're off the air on the radio, so hopefully we're still working on the live stream.
Join us on the live stream. I think we're good on the YouTube, so go to 105.5.net, click on the St. Paul Indian banner. It should take you right to the live stream on YouTube.
Make sure you don't put the dot, though. It's just 105.5.
Sorry.
.net.
105.5.
Hot 105.5.net.
As
there you go.
Waverly going to kick the football off as Pope has the ball, well, getting ready to tee it up. Albertini stands about his own 15-yard line. 8:53 left to go before halftime. Indians trail 12-8.
St. Paul going to have to get some momentum back.
They have not looked very fluid on offense here tonight, nor defensively. They've already given up quite a few yards to Waverly and 3 turnovers on the night by the Indians on their last 3 possessions. So see if they can clean that up here. And here comes the quick kick. It's a short kick, takes a high bounce. It's going to be taken by Albertini off the right side this time. Gets by 1, goes down the sideline, gets right to midfield stripes. Another great field position opportunity for the Indians.
So the Indians,
I think we're back up and on the radio, I hope. Cody says he got things straightened out, so it should be Indians trail here, folks, 12-8. First time this season the Indians trail. They've had 3 turnovers on their last 3 offensive possessions.
going to take over right at midfield, aren't they?
And Waverly has scored on their last 2 offensive possessions to give them a 12-8 lead. First and 10 for the Indians right at midfield off the kickoff. I formation, Dent at fullback, Bradshaw at tailback. Here comes the snap. Option to the right. Albertini's going to keep it. Hit hard out of bounds. We're going to have a nice gain on first down. He's hit by number 88, knocked out of bounds by Bartley. 145-pound sophomore for another sophomore for Waverly, so they are young, but they are well coached and fundamentally sound, Mike. Second down and 1 for the Indians. Ball at the Waverly Bulldog 31.5-yard line. Indians need to bow up here and show what they're made of. They trail 12-8 early on in the second period.
Yeah, they're by no means out of anything, but they're just in an uncomfortable, unfamiliar territory right now, trailing.
Albertini up under center. Now Bradshaw goes to fullback. Dent at tailback. Here comes the snap. Dent's going to have it off the left side. Slips 1 tackle. Is going to have a first down as he leans forward down to the 26-yard line. Got a man down on the other side. Looks like Chase Bradshaw on the ground. So there'll be an injury time out here as Murillo comes to Coach Watrick. And now they stop play as we see what hopefully kind of holding towards his midsection. It appears as though it's going to be first and 10 for the Indians. We're going to take an injury timeout here. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105.
We'll see.
We'll go ahead and there we go. Well, welcome back here to St. Paul's. It appears as though Chase Bradshaw on the turf for the Indians, still laying on his back about the 31-yard line, so we'll hope he'll be all right. Boy, the Indians got their hands full here so far, Mike.
Yes, they do, and I think they know it. You know, I think we'll see the Indians make the necessary adjustments. It's just, you know, kind of new for them. They aren't used to making those kind of mistakes. They made some mental mistakes before early in the season, you know, with some penalties, but really the turnover bug hasn't bit them too bad all season long, and so they're going to have to just get their heads back on right and remember that that's gone and they can't do anything about it. Just look forward. And I think once we get into halftime, it's still 8 minutes left before half, but I'm sure Coach Watrick going to have a serious conversation with the boys about hanging on the ball, playing good mental football, and if they can do that, you know, they're still in this game, and I think they're going to be all right.
Physical game here. First and 10 for the Indians at the Waverly 26-yard line as we are back to set to get play here as Bradshaw gets up and makes his own way. Looks to be like he's going to be okay. Mr. Jack and all there taking care of him. First and 10 for the Indians. Slot to the right is Chandler Bradshaw. In the pistols, Albertini. Set to his right is Easton Dent. Here comes the snap. It's a good snap. It's going to run the option. He's going to keep it off the right side. He's got some runner room. Cuts back to the center. Now to the outside. Now down to the 10 to the 9-yard line. Good hard run by Albertini, as he is hard to bring down. It's going to be a 15-yard gain for Albertini. It's going to be first and goal for the Indians at the Waverly 9-yard line.
Appears to be hanging on that ball a lot better now, too.
8:16 left to go in the first period. Clock stops. Now it starts as they get the chain set. First and goal for the Indians from the Waverly 9-yard line. 8:07 left to go in the first. Need to break huddle here and get up to the line of scrimmage. Taking a long time in the huddle. 40-second clock in between plays. Bradshaw fullback, Dent at tailback. Albertini up under center. Count is on. Albertini gets set to take the snap. He takes the snap, hands it off to Dent. Dent's hit immediately, instant. In there instantly, his number 72 is Skillman. So not good blocking by the line of scrimmage. That nose guard got in there. He loses a half yard. First and goal from the Waverly 10. Somebody missed the block
missed
on
the block
Skillman
assignment there.
because Skillman was in the backfield with Dent before he even got the handoff. Second and goal from the 10. 7:24 left to go here in the first half. 12-8, Waverly leads St. Paul. Stone King up over the football. I formation again. Bradshaw fullback, Dent at tailback. Look for the Indians to run the option here. 4 guys down on the line of scrimmage. Now Wilson jumps up, pops out. It's going to be Dent off the right side, cuts back to middle. Skillman in there again. And another short gain by the Indians is a very short gain as Skillman back-to-back tackles for the Bulldogs. Skillman, a 225-pound junior, time out. Indians with that, we'll take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul. We're rare here, but St. Paul trails at Miles Field 12-8 against a very good Waverly Bulldog team. It'll be third down and goal for the Indians at the Waverly 7-yard line. Back-to-back short gains from the Indians when they had first and goal from the 9.5-yard line.
Indians really need to put it in here and get some points on the board, not only take the lead back, but also to give them some confidence back and kind of get that momentum swung back in their direction.
Murillo up over the football. 3 slot receivers to the right. Albertini in the pistol. Dent, Bradshaw, and Bradshaw. Chase Bradshaw back in the game. Albertini's going to keep it. Tries to get to the outside. Down to the 5. Cross 4. Dives to the 3-yard line. Now a late flag. Comes in at the 6-yard line. Really late flag. And it's going to be now he's going to pull it back to the 8-yard line. And he's going to throw a flag on the Indians. That was a late flag thrown. That's about the 4th holding penalty against the Indians. Rare to see, and that's going to back the Indians way back.
Coach Watrick's going to want an explanation. He's going to have to figure out what they're seeing that nobody's seen so far earlier in the season. They're walking them way back. It's
going to be a 10-yard penalty from the spot. It's going to go back to the 18-yard line. It'll be third down and goal from the Waverly 18, so the Indians just can't get anything going without shooting themselves in the foot. See what Coach Watrick dials up on a third down and 18 at the Waverly. Third down and goal from the Waverly 18. In the pistol is Albertini. 3 slot receivers to the left. Rolls to his left. Going to try to throw it. Pump fakes. Throws across the middle. Has his man Bradshaw. Bradshaw going to be cut down, but it's going to be good gain.
Bradshaw by himself there in the middle.
7-yard line. As a little pump fake and hits Bradshaw across the middle. It's going to be fourth down and goal from the Waverly 7-yard line.
Got that 10 yards back.
6:15 left to go in the first half. Waverly leads 12-8. Indians big fourth down and goal from the Waverly 7.
Bradshaw alone there in the middle. They have to keep that in mind moving forward. Those are the things that you learn you can take advantage of later.
Same bunch set. 3 slot receivers to the left. Bradshaw, and Dent. Albertini in the pistol. Takes the snap. He's going to try it off that left side. Nowhere to go now. Reverses directions. He's going to reverse all the way back to the left. Cuts back. Still on his feet. Down to the 5. And he's going to be down at the 2-yard line. So he will be short of the goal line. What a run by Albertini. But it'll be 1st and 10 on the change of possession. Waverly from their own 2-yard line.
Albertini ran about 40 yards to get 5.
He had nowhere to go.
Still short.
Reverse direction twice and gets down to the 2 where Waverly will take over 1st and 10 from their own 2. You got them pinned back here. Keep them back here. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Foster up under center. Lehman to the right. Wilson to the left. Going to be handoff to Foster. He's got some running room. And he's going to get across the 5 up to the 7-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play, taking it right to the Indians. It'll be 2nd down and 5 for Waverly up to their own 7-yard line. Call it 2nd down. Yeah, 2nd down and 5 for Waverly. Ball spotted at their own 7-yard line. Up to the line of scrimmage they come. 5-10 left to go in the second period. Indians trail 12-8. Handoff off Wilson this time. He's going to be spun down. He tries to stay on his feet. Gibb Carter spins him down at the 10. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for Waverly. A big 3rd down play for the Indians. Got Waverly pinned back here. Keep him back here. Call it 3rd and 3. They stay home on this option. See if the D ends can contain Foster. Wilson splits out wide to the right. Up under center is Foster. Lehman is the single back set behind him. Here comes the snap. Going to run the option to the left. Going to keep it. Leans forward. Going to have the 1st down as he leans towards the 14-yard line as Foster followed Lehman right through the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs as they drive it right towards the Indians. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from their own 15. 4:19 left to go in the second period. 12-8 Waverly leads.
Lehman, big, strong runner, and he just made that happen because of his own will and desire to get there.
Pope splits wide to the right this time. Foster up under center. I formation. Lehman at fullback. Wilson at tailback. Hand off to Wilson off the right side. He's going to be bottled up quickly by the Indians. Nowhere to go. They're going to give him forward progress as a gain on the play where he ends up on his back at the 9-yard line. They're going to give him progress, or not the 9, but the 14-yard line. He ends up forward progress up to his 16. 2nd down and 9 with a gain of 1 from their own 16. 3:39 left to go in the second period. 12-8 Indians trail.
Wilson's carried the ball 7 times, but he's only got 7 yards. Had a couple carries for a loss for a net of 7. So
taking a long time in the huddle here as they're quite happy just letting this clock run. Look for a play-action pass, though, once they get a little breathing room. Up under center is Foster. I formation. Lehman at fullback. Now he goes in motion from right to left. Going to run the option. He's going to be hit by Gibb Carter and ripped down as Foster. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down. Boy, they give him another yard on forward progress.
Good play by Gibb Carter.
And it's going to be 3rd down and 8. Under 3 minutes left to go in the first half. 2:55 left to go in the first half. 12-8. Indians down by 4. Big 3rd down and 8 for the Indians defense. They've been unable to force Waverly to punt here tonight. And it's to their own doings because they've had all kinds of penalty problems as well as turnover problems. 3 turnovers on the night by the Indians here in the first half. And it's all been on quick 1st down possessions. 2 receivers wide to the right, up under centers. Now Lehman goes in motion now. A timeout by Waverly. With 2:23 left to go in the second period, timeout Waverly. We'll go ahead and take a timeout. We'll take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. welcome back. 2:23 left to go. Try again. Welcome back. Dan Vitt alongside Mike McCracken, where the Indians trail 12-8 to Waverly with 2:23 left to go here in the first period. A big 3rd down and 8 for the Indians defense coming up. It is 3rd and 8 for Waverly. They are pinned at their own 17.5-yard line, so the Indians defense really needs to step up here. Waverly's had some success on the pass, especially a little late pass, screen pass across the middle. So look for that here, Mike, as a different set look now out of the timeout. Wilson wide to the left, Foster up under center. Lehman is the fullback. Look for the tight end to release here. Motion from right to left.
Well, they really moved. That's going to hurt them.
Are they not going to?
No, that was the old quarterback where they snapped the ball up there, and the quarterback took off with the
well, it's 4th down. Irregardless, it didn't work.
That was one of those trick plays. And
is the center the only one that moved?
Yeah.
So the center snapped
it.
Nobody else moved.
The center snapped the ball. Nobody else moved. They tried the old trickaroni there, and it didn't work.
If it was a trickaroni or if the center just didn't know the snap count. But either way, we like it. It's 4th down and 6, so the Indians is held. So it forces Bartley back into punt formation. Adam Albertini slips back to his own 35-yard line. Long wait. Now Bartley does kick it.
Steve Carter almost got a hand on it.
And it's going to bounce out of bounds. It's going to be good field position for the Indians. They're going to be on their side of the field, but it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Indians from their own 35-yard line, I believe, as they spot it. Looks like about the 34, so the Indians see if they can do something in the last minute 35 here of the first half. They trail 12-8 to the Bulldogs of Waverly.
Minute and a half left in the first half. That's the first punt of the ball game by either team.
Hayden Smith comes on, the field, and Wilson Smith slips off. 2 receivers wide to the right is Hayden Smith and Chandler Bradshaw. In the pistol is Albertini. Set to his left is Easton Dent. Dent goes in motion from right to left. Now Albertini's quick pass out to Bradshaw is too high, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. Falls harmlessly incomplete. 1:31 left to go. 1:31 left to go in the first half, and it's 12-8. Your fans like the old trickaroni play, Mike.
You haven't seen nothing until you've seen a trickaroni play, I can tell you that.
I wish the Indians would dial up a trickaroni and score here, because the Indians are sputtering on about 3 cylinders here tonight so far. And it's showing by the scoreboard. 12-8, they trail. Hayden Smith wide to the right. Now Bradshaw comes out with him. 2nd down and 10 from their own 35. Same motion. Dent goes in motion from left to right. Albertini's just going to keep it this time. Has a lot of black jerseys out there, and he's going to stays in bounds. Now he hit late.
Almost a late hit.
Out of bounds at the 37. Just not much running room for Albertini here tonight. It's going to be 3rd down and long for the Indians with 1:25, so they may give it right back to the Bulldogs if they can't convert on a 3rd down and 9 from their own 37-yard line.
Give some credit to that Waverly defense. They've contained Adam as good as anyone we've seen all season.
3rd down and 9 for the Indians from their own 37-yard line. Albertini in the pistol, set to his left, Chandler Bradshaw. Slot to the right is Easton Dent. Here comes the snap. Little option. Now he drops back to pass. Going to throw a screen pass. Has his man Dent out there. Dent's going to be belted out of bounds, but not until he leans across the 40 down to the 31-yard line of Waverly.
That's what needed to happen. Give him a little spark here.
Right up to the line of scrimmage. The clock's going to start, I think, unless he went out of bounds. I didn't see him signal it. Indians need to hustle up here. That was a good play by Coach Watrick. Now the clock is running. 1:14 left to go in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Indians at the Waverly 31. Need to hustle up the line of scrimmage. It's not just going to take one play here. Bunch set to the right. Adam Albertini in the pistol. He waits the snap. 1st and 10 for the Indians from 31. He rolls to the right. Under pressure. Darts it across the middle. Bradshaw. No, it's
intercepted. No, it's incomplete.
It's going to fall down incomplete as Bradshaw had it in his breadbasket, and he was covered well by Wilson, and falls to the ground harmlessly incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 31 of Waverly for the Indians. Waverly by far, Mike, the quickest team we've seen.
Yes, they are.
They're young, but they're quick. They're not oversized in the Indians, but they're quick. And a lot of times that quickness in eight-man football is the problem. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Bradshaw and Hayden Smith to the right. Chase Bradshaw to the left. Easton Dent and Adam Albertini is in the pistol out. Now Dent comes in motion. Back to pass. Albertini's in duress. Scrambles. Chase throws late, and it falls incomplete. As going to bring up 3rd down and 10 for the Indians at the Waverly 31-yard line with 43 seconds left to go here in the first half. Good coverage in the secondary by Waverly, 3rd down and 10 at the Waverly 31-yard line.
Yeah, not giving Adam anything to see out there, anyone getting open. They did a good job keeping those receivers covered up.
Probably 2-down territory for the Indians at the Waverly 31. You don't want to give them too much time, but see what the Indians dial up. Coach Wartrick on the 3rd down here. Albertini in the pistol, 3 bunch receivers to the right. Count is on. Albertini's going to keep it off the right side. Cuts to the outside. He's got some running room. Good block downfield. Cuts back to the left. Touchdown, Indians.
I don't see any flags.
31-yard touchdown run. Good blocking that time by the Indians. Good for the Indians touchdown. They take the lead back with 34 seconds left. In the second quarter, they lead 14-12. Albertini started to his right. Had a good block downfield by Chandler Bradshaw. He was on his man in the secondary, and wasn't no way he was going to let him make the tackle. And Albertini's seen it, cut back to the middle of the football field, and trotted into the end zone. Big extra points. They're going to mean a lot here tonight. Indians up by 2, 14-12. Albertini in the pistol. Dent set to his left. Chandler Bradshaw slot to the left. He awaits the snap. Takes the snap. He's going to run, gives it to Dent off the right side, and he's into the end zone for the extra point. So the Indians lead 16-12, 34 seconds left to go here in the first half. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout with St. Paul football on Hot 105. A 30-second. Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul, where Murillo has the ball teed up off the Indians' touchdown. Adam Albertini with 31-yard touchdown run. Easton Dent's extra point was good. Indians lead 16-12. Murillo's kick, driving quick, drives Foster back to the 2. Foster's going to start to the right, gets behind his blockers, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down at the 21-yard line, right at their own 20.
Waverly set up the wedge there, and Foster waited for it to get developed in front of him. St. Paul did a good job busting through and making the tackle.
Good kick coverage by the Indians. Kickoff team, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from their own 20. 26 seconds left to go here in the first half. Indians back on top, 16-12. Let's set the defense. We haven't had a chance to set much of anything here tonight. Wilson Smith left defensive end, Murillo right defensive end. Gibb Carter moves to the nose guard. First time we've seen, not the first time, but Gibb's been playing defensive end. Foster in the pistol. Back behind him is Lehman. Wilson is wide to the left. He's going to spin to his right. He's going to back to pass. Left-handed, darts it downfield, and that is going to be caught. How did that get past Hayden Smith? And it's into Indian. No, it's not. It's going to be a little bit. Oh, it falls incomplete. I'm sorry.
Hit the ground. I thought he caught it too.
Caught it, but it falls harmlessly incomplete. It's going to be 2nd down and 10. Hayden Smith was upset because he had a chance to pick that football off. Clock stopped. 20 seconds left to go. Boy, I tell you what, the left-handed quarterback Foster has a gun on him
does.
for
That
a
was a
sophomore.
bullet. There was no arc on that. That was straight as a string.
He is up under center, I formation, Lehman at fullback. And it's going to be option to the left. He's going to hand it to Foster, or Lehman, excuse me, and he's going to be brought down. No gain. Short gain on the play. He's going to gain 2 yards on the play. Excuse me. Second down and 8. 12 seconds. Clock running. And that's just going to lead us right into halftime. Halftime score, Indians 16. Bulldog, they may call a timeout here. Let's see. They do. They call a timeout with 1 second left to go in the first half. We'll see. They're going to put 1 second back on the clock.
Yeah.
Waverly calls a timeout with 1 second. They're going to try it
2
last
seconds.
play. They're probably going to try a little
2 seconds.
trickeroni, Mike, probably.
You know, you got to watch that trickeroni popping up any time. It can bite you.
Good football game here, Mike.
It is. It's a good, enjoyable football game to watch. And fortunately for St. Paul, they're able to put something together there and put some points back on the board. Hopefully go into halftime here with the lead. But Waverly playing a good ball game themselves. They're well coached. You can see that, as is St. Paul. And going to be a battle of the minds, like a chess game between those coaches. And then the kids out on the field, they're fighting hard both ways. So it's fun to watch, and it's just what you'd expect from playoff football.
We need one of them pick sixes like we had multiple, 3 of them last
we've seen them before. It's not out of the question.
We can't have a pick six with one more play here in the first half.
It'd be nice to have, but you got to hopefully get your D-backs convinced that they don't have to do that every time. If they can get a hand on it, knock it down, you take that.
Indians going to play in the second half for sure here tonight, folks. It is not going to be a halftime game. They are in a battle. They definitely can put together. This has definitely not been their best first half of the season, and yet they lead by 4. 3 turnovers on the night and multiple penalties on the Indians. Foster in the pistol. 3 receivers bunched to the left. He's going to drop back to pass, look for a little short across middle, and he dropped. Falls incomplete. And we don't have that number, and that's going to be halftime, 16-12. Indians up by 4. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul. Dan Vitt alongside Mike McCracken, where the Indians lead 16-12 over the Waverly Bulldogs in a good first half of football, Mike.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. And Indians coming in here at halftime with the lead. Coach Walter got them huddled up down there in the corner. You know, they're having some serious discussions. They're going to talk about a lot of things. They're going to talk about hanging on to the ball and not committing those turnovers for sure. Also probably going to do some discussion about mental mistakes and penalties, try to minimize those going into the second half, but also going to be talking about what a good job that they did coming back, because like we mentioned, the first time St. Paul's had to come from behind and even been close to being behind in a game at all, let alone here early in the first half, and they did a good job hanging in there, not giving up on themselves, and you know, they sputtered a little bit, had some trouble, but they were able to come back and put some points on the board late in the first half and come in here with the lead. At the same time, the other end of the field, Waverly, having the same kind of conversations. They haven't had a problem with the turnovers like St. Paul has, but they've really done a good job controlling the pace of the game and playing a good ball control offense, causing St. Paul to make some mistakes, and when they do, taking full advantage of them, and you look for them to try to continue that going into the second half. And Adam Albertini really getting things figured out late in the first half, and you know, he's going to come out here. Waverly's going to have to watch for him as he tries to bust things open for St. Paul maybe here in the second half, try to get him freed out in space, because that's where he does his best work.
Absolutely. When I say a good football game, it's good on the scoreboard, but it was not a good first half by the St. Paul Indians by no stretch of the imagination.
We've seen them play a lot better than that.
They held up each opportunity they had on offense by turning the football over 3 times in a row on offense, and then also every time they'd get a drive going, it's, you know, the deeper you get into the playoffs, if you're lucky enough to keep advancing, is you're going to have these grinding games where you need to grind the football down the field. And every time the Indians would get a little momentum going down the football field, they would get a holding penalty, Mike, that kept backing them up, back up 10 yards, and they'd gain a little back, and then ultimately, you know, a bad snap or whatever, a turnover can happen, and but they really need to clean up the second half.
Yeah, they're going to have to do that for sure. And you know, Waverly been able to, like I said, to control that ball. That's kind of been what helped them to get where they're at now, and keeping it this close and even having the lead for a while. Is they're not letting St. Paul's offense be on the field any more than they absolutely can, and they've done a good job when they had the ball of mixing it up between the run and the pass. Had some success with those screen passes, especially that little quick screen right over the middle. Really successful for them with the receivers. Kind of caught the defense a little bit off guard, but then they're not afraid to string it out. They've had some looks down the field. A couple of times St. Paul Mag got a little bit lucky that there weren't some completions on some of those longer balls that Waverly threw. So Waverly doing a good job mixing things up and trying to keep the St. Paul defense off balance.
Waverly with the lone punt of the night. It hasn't been that Waverly have stopped the Indians. They have stopped themselves more than Waverly has stopped them by penalties and turnovers, as we have alluded to many times already. When we come back from this next break, Mike's going to have all the first half stats for us. We'll be back after this next 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul, Mike. One thing we haven't mentioned, great crowd on hand here at Miles Field in St. Paul supporting the Indians. Indians lead 16-12, and we are at halftime. They lead by 4. Waverly led most of that second quarter 12-8, and the Indians able to score with about 31 seconds left to go in that first half, and they retook the lead 16-12. Mike, what do you got for first half stats?
Not a lot of offensive production in the first half by St. Paul, as there has been all the other games so far this year. Usually it takes a while to go down all those stats and got some big numbers to report. That's definitely not the case so far tonight, but what we do have Adam Albertini. He is leading all rushers. Adam rushed the ball 9 times for 115 yards in the first half. One touchdown. It was a 31-yard run that Albertini made for his only rushing touchdown. Matter of fact, his only score of the first half, which is another unusual stat that we haven't heard much of this year. Usually we're talking about how many touchdowns and touches and yards he's made, but it's been pretty well shut down tonight. Mostly, probably a lot more than mostly, because of the 3 turnovers, which are really unusual for Adam. He's one of the smartest players on the field, and he knows to take care of the ball, but he had some trouble with that early on with 3 consecutive fumbles in the game early on. Kind of looks like he may have got himself squared away on that issue because he didn't have any trouble later on, especially as he was able to scamper down the field 31 yards for that last touchdown that he scored. In addition to his rushing yards, Adam also passed the ball twice. He was 2 of 6 passes for 22 yards. Easton Dent had a nice first half as well. He had 6 carries, 27 yards, including 1 rushing touchdown for 5 yards. He also caught the ball, one of Albertini's passes, 1 reception for 12. Chase Bradshaw had the other. It was 1 reception for 10 yards, and that's the extent of offensive stats for St. Paul. Penalty-wise, the Indians did have some struggles with the penalty bug in addition to the turnover bug. They were penalized 4 times for a total of 30 yards. Waverly, on the other hand, only 2 penalties, but they were both big ones, one 15-yarder and one 10-yarder for 25 yards penalized. The main workhorse for the Waverly Bulldogs, Damian Foster, number 21, the first half, 11 carries for 87 yards, including an 8-yard touchdown run, and that's the sole touchdown for Waverly. As you look down the scoring drives for both teams, you see St. Paul doing a pretty good job in the extra point area like they have all season long. Really brought that extra point game around, able to convert on both of their opportunities, which hopefully, it's not going to come down to that, but it definitely could, and those are ever important. The single score by Waverly, they failed to convert, and the score was 8-6 at that point. Then Waverly took the lead, and St. Paul able to come back here with the halftime lead at 16-12. St. Paul with the 3 turnovers. Waverly didn't have a turnover in the first down, only had 1 punt. They did give the ball up twice on downs to St. Paul, and that's how the first half went. It was kind of a slow, methodical game by both teams, and some mistakes were made, and we'll see if those get cleaned up here in the second half. Look forward to them get started back here.
Yeah, we're here at halftime, and we got about 7 minutes till the second half kicks off. I believe Waverly will receive the opening kick of the second half. Indians receive the opening kick to start. I think they won the toss, elected to receive the opening kick, and it did them a lot of good. They 2 plays and jumped right on top of Waverly and led 8-0. It looked like the Indians was going to get off to a good roll, and things kind of didn't go too good after that with 3 turnovers. As Mike said, 30 yards. It doesn't sound like too many penalties, but all 3 of those was holding penalties at inopportune times and backed them up 10 yards all 3 times. So, see, Coach Watchick spent a lot of time in the huddle down there. Coach Watchick, Coach McCracken, and I'm sure a lot of adjustments going to be made here at halftime. Slow this Waverly offense down and see if the Indians can't get a little momentum going. We'll be back after this next 2-minute timeout. You listen to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul. We're about 4 minutes until kickoff the second half. Indians lead by 4 over the Waverly Bulldogs, 16-12. And good on the scoreboard. See if the Indians clean things up here at halftime. Indians made their way here by beating Hartford last week, 64-0 here at home at Miles Field on Thursday night. And Waverly was over the top of Marmaton Valley, 62-14. On the next side down of the bracket, Hanover and Frankfort is now playing. I've seen a halftime score. Hanover led Frankfort 22-18. The winner of this game will advance to play Hanover and or Frankfort, depending on who wins that game. After tonight, Mike, the formula goes from west to east. The first, the sectional game will be to the east. So the furthest team east will host that game unless, here's the big unless.
The big unless, yeah.
The big unless you have not hosted a game, or if you haven't hosted a game and the other team has, then the East-West formula is overridden by who hosted the most home games or who hadn't hosted the most home games. So.
Yeah, so bottom line to that is if Hanover wins, Hanover will come here and play. If Hanover wins, we go to Frankfort. No, that don't make any sense. Let's not do that.
Maybe you ought to be quiet. Let me tell them, Mike.
Why don't you tell them? You got it wrote down. I was trying to remember what you wrote down. Can't remember.
If the St. Paul advances, is able to get over Waverly, and that looks to be still up in the air. But if they do, if Hanover wins, St. Paul will host next week. If Frankfort would win, then because Frankfort is playing at Hanover tonight, Mike, that is the reason why. So.
Isn't that what I said?
That means Frankfurt. I don't know what you said. You may have very well said that. But either way, if Hanover wins, they would come here. And if Frankfurt would win, we'd have to go to Frankfurt. So either way, we don't want to overlook Waverly. We got to get past them.
Got to get past Waverly to do either one of them.
But Waverly probably also would be able to host next week over Hanover or Frankfurt because they are traveling tonight if they happen to be the winner. So that's the way that works. Area scores, as I said, Hanover led Frankfurt there at halftime. Opie led Uniontown 42-0 at halftime. So Hanover, Uniontown has their handful. Humboldt all over southeast, and I seen a Chanute was leading Lewisburg 14-8 at halftime. So good luck to the Blue Comets. Larry calling that game for us, Mike, and Humboldt also leading. So hopefully all the area teams can advance and hopefully start with the Indians here tonight.
Yeah, I got some pretty strong teams in this area. You know, St. Paul, Humboldt, and Frontenac, and some of those teams over in the
I did not see a
Pittsburgh
Frontenac score yet, Mike. That is a good point. Yeah, Frontenac also in it, but I did not see a score for Frontenac. Colgan, I seen led during the fourth quarter at Hill, or I don't know about where it's at, but 22-15 over Hillsboro.
I think Colgan was playing at home tonight.
So that's a good football game there over at Colgan. Now Colgan leads 29-21 in its final. They won that game, 29-21. I knew that was a 6 o'clock game because I heard that on the pregame show late this afternoon here. As ever, both teams finish their warm-ups. Going to take the field here. I think it's going to be the St. Paul kickoff team as Murillo has the kicking tee in his hand, and he will kick off to Waverly. So the Indians defense need to get some fire here, Mike, and get a 3-and-out or a turnover would be great against the Bulldogs of Waverly. Get the football back, take a little momentum in this football game.
Yeah, look to do to Waverly kind of what Waverly did in the first half. Slow the game down, play their football game. Talked about before the game, some of the keys were turnovers. The problem was St. Paul gave them up instead of caused them. Need to look to change that around this half, hopefully cause some turnovers, cause some problems there with the Waverly's offense, try to get them out of sync, and really, you know, if they can get a couple of turnovers, put some early points on the board, that'll really go a long ways to push them toward the end of this game coming out on top.
St. Paul is going to kick from left to right, from west to east as Murillo tees the ball up. Let's see if Murillo gets this into the end zone, pin Waverly back at their own 15 to start this third quarter. 12 minutes on the clock, 16-12. Indians up by 4. We look for a good second half out of the St. Paul Indian boys here.
Murillo's kicked it deep every time, but they haven't been afraid. Waverly hadn't been afraid to return it behind that wedge.
And Murillo has the ball teed up. Foster back deep, stands at his own 5. Murillo's kick's going to be a short one, returnable, taken at the 5. Up to the 10, 15, turns on his gas, back up the middle, has a little run room, runs into his own man, now going to be brought down. Now there's a flag Still running hard is Foster. Somebody got him by the back of the jersey, dragging him forward, number 11. A penalty flag at the 16-yard line. It's going to be holding against the Waverly Bulldogs. It's going to back them up 10 yards. It's going to be 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line. There's one thing about it, Mike. They do not go down after first contact. They're good, hard runners.
His legs moving.
Is Foster. 1st and 10 for Waverly from their own 11-yard line. Give Carter nose guard, Murillo and Wilson Smith at defensive ends. The linebackers, Easton Dent, Chase Bradshaw. Cornerbacks, Hayden Smith, Chandler Bradshaw. Free safety is Adam Albertini. One receiver's wide to the right is Wilson. In the pistol is Foster. Here comes the snap. He hands it to Lehman off the right side. He's going to be hit, but not until he has a nice 3 or 4 yard gain on first down. Up to the 14. It's going to be a 3-yard gain. Call it 2nd down and 7. Good blocking from the line of scrimmage of Waverly. 2nd down and 7 from their own 14-yard line. Look for Foster to pull that out and run that option around the right side at some point. It's going to be an I formation. Lehman at fullback, Wilson at tailback, Foster up under center. 2nd and 7 from their own 14. Here comes the snap. It's option off to the right. Foster's going to keep it. No,
Ball down.
Ball's loose, and
There's that
get
turnover.
on the football this time as a Foster rode Lehman into the line of scrimmage. Ball comes loose, and it looks like Wilson Smith gets on that football and gets the momentum for the Indians. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Indians at the Waverly 17-yard line.
That's what they needed, get that turnover. Just like we said, they put points on the board. That's really what they need to do, put the foot on the gas now and don't let up.
Back in the day, St. Paul used to run that belly option a lot where the quarterback could ride that fullback all the way down into the line of scrimmage. Foster does a good job with that with Lehman. At that time, the ball got loose from Lehman. I formation for the Indians. Chandler Bradshaw at fullback, Dent at tailback. Albertini hands it to Dent off the right side. He leans forward across the 15. Short gain of on the play, tripped up. Right after he gets across the line of scrimmage, gain of 2, 2nd down and 8. Ball across the 15-yard line. Just underway here in the second half. Indians lead 16-12, and they create a turnover on Waverly's first possession. See if the Indians can turn it into points. 3 bunch receivers to the left. Adam Albertini in the pistol. He awaits the snap. It's a good snap. He takes it off the left side, avoids the first 2 men, gets to the outside, cuts back to the middle, leans towards the first down stick. He's going to be short of the first down, but a nice gain for Albertini across the 10 down to the 8-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and short for the Indians. 3rd down and about 1 for the Indians. Ball at the Waverly 9-yard line. 9:59 left to go here in the 3rd period. Indians lead 16-12. Albertini off the sidelines with the play. Need to hustle up out of the huddle. Up to the line of scrimmage they come. I formation. Dent at fullback. Bradshaw at tailback. Albertini up under center. He awaits the snap. It's a good snap. Option to the right. Dent right up the middle. Twist down towards the 5-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot him right at the 5. It'll be a 1st down for the Indians. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Indians at the Waverly 5-yard line.
Just some good power football there, sticking Dent right up behind the center, right up the gut, get that 1st down. Now you got a 1st and goal.
I wouldn't change that a bit. I'd keep powering it right up the middle and then maybe run the option to the outside. Albertini can have the option to pull that out of his gut. Option again. Albertini's going to keep it just right side. Throws it late to Bradshaw down across the 5 to the 2-yard line.
Dangerous.
Now there's a flag over there on the opposite side at the line of scrimmage thrown by the side judge. And here's another flag against the Indians at an inopportune time. See if it's a holding penalty. That is back the Indians clear it back to the 13-yard line after the 1st and goal. Bradshaw on the dangerous pitch by Albertini had it down to the 2. Now they're all bunched up and discussing it as both side judges come in. I don't know if they're going to call if there's a hold or if they're if he lateraled that forward possibly.
That's what I was wondering if he.
Because it kind of looked like, but he was behind the line. Well, maybe he wasn't behind the line.
That's what
He's
they're talking about
the
where he was at, I think,
line.
when he threw it.
I think it might have been an illegal forward pass is what they're discussing. That was thrown to the opposite person on the opposite side.
They may wave this one off. They can't decide.
Now they're looking at the line.
Well,
they
forward.
go up to the
It's
flag.
going to be a defensive penalty.
I'm not sure what the. We'll wait. Now
Yeah,
they're going to wave it
off.
off.
Yeah.
So they are going to spot him at the 1 yard line. So it's going to be second down and goal as they wave the flag off. And the Waverly coach wants an explanation, and I don't blame him.
Right down to the one.
I'd like one too, Mike.
Yeah, I would too.
Bradshaw catches that pitch, gets down to the 1 yard line for the Indians. I'm almost sure that they was worried about that being an illegal forward pass, and without seeing it from a different camera angle.
Need the replay camera.
High formation for the Indians. Den at fullback, Bradshaw at tailback, Albertini up under center, second goal from the 1. Albertini's going to keep it, leans towards the goal line. No signal yet. Touchdown, Indians. Albertini gets in on the quarterback sneak off the left side and in for the Indian touchdown. Indians lead by 10, 22-12, 9:02 left to go here in the third period. Good drive off the turnover from Waverly as the Indians take advantage of the turnover and get points. Pending an extra point. Adam Albertini up under center at fullback Dent, tailback Bradshaw. Albertini waits for the snap, takes the snap, is going to roll out to his right. Under pressure, throws it late through the hands of Dent, as I'm not sure if that was intended for Dent or Bradshaw, falls incomplete. So the Indians maintain a 22-12 lead. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul, where St. Paul stretches their lead out to 22-12 with 9:02 left to go in the third period as the Indians kickoff team take the field. Back deep for the Bulldogs is Foster. On the kickoff coverage, Chase Bradshaw, Kaiser Wadrick, Adam Albertini, Easton Dent, Ivan Murillo, Chandler Bradshaw, Hayden Smith, and Austin O'Hara.
That's a similar start to that we had in the first half. Let's hope the Indians do a better job of keeping the gas on here in the second.
Foster stands at his own 4. Here comes Murillo's kick. Drive and kick. Foster takes it at the 3, up to the 5, 10, off the right side, has a little running room, spins away from one. Now Smith gets back up. He drags people across the 25, legs churning up to the 27-yard line. Good return by the young sophomore. First and 10 for Waverly up to their own 28-yard line. 25-yard kickoff return by Foster.
Indians hitting pretty high on those. I'm trying to tackle down the wheels a little bit as hard as they run those legs.
First and 10 for Waverly from their own 27. 8:52 left to go in the third. They trail by 10. Foster up under center, split back formation. Going to pitch it out to Wilson off the left side. He's got a good lead block. He's going to be tackled out of bounds by Bradshaw, but not until he gets close to midfield and has 12 yards for a first down. Give him a gain of 11 as he's up for the first down. First and 10 for Waverly. Up to their own 39-yard line. First and 10 for Waverly up to their own 39-yard line. One play, 11 yards. Good play on first down for Waverly. Foster in the pistol this time. 3 bunch receivers set. Look for Wilson or Lehman to go in motion. Now motion, Wilson goes out deeper. Foster's going to keep it around the right side, trying to get to the edge. Got some running room down the sideline. He's going to be knocked out of bounds. He's close to another first down into Indian territory. And he has another 11, 12-yard gain on first down to the Indians' 29-yard line. So give him a gain of a little over 10. First and 10. Waverly getting to the edge against the Indians, Mike, having some good yardage here on this second drive of the second half for him. Split back formation, Foster up under center, Wilson to the left, Lehman to the right in the split back formation. Hand off to Wilson, steps across one. And you're going to have a nice gain of 6-7 yards on first down.
Waverly giving St. Paul a little dose of their own medicine with this power run game.
It'll be second down and call it 5 for Waverly, as now they are down to the Indian 25-yard line. Clock running, 8:12 left to go in the third. Indians lead 22-12. Waverly with the drive, though. I formation this time. Lehman at fullback, Wilson at tailback, Foster up under center. Here comes the snap. Going to run the option to the right. Cuts back to the center of the field. He's going to be brought down short of the first down, but positive yardage on the play for Foster. And he's going to gain 2 or 3 on the play. It's going to bring up third down and short. Third down and 1. Ball now at the 21.5-yard line of the Indians. Gib Carter moves back to D end. Ethan Stone King comes in at nose guard. Wilson Smith at the left defensive end. High formation. Foster up under center. Lehman at fullback. Wilson at tailback. He awaits the snap. He's going to run it off the left side. Pitches it late to Wilson. Bradshaw's out there. Wraps him up. Short, I believe, of the first down. Dangerous pitch by Foster as he got it to Wilson late.
String him out, see where they spot it.
And it's going to be really close to a first down. They're going to measure, stop for a measurement.
Right at the 20, it looks like.
Pretty good defense by the Indians as they got on Foster quickly, but Foster able to get that. Foster able to get the pitch away to Wilson, and Chandler Bradshaw wraps him up. See if he has enough for the first down. If not, it'll be fourth and short for the Bulldogs. They stretch it out. It's going to be fourth down. It's going to be a little bit short, so big play for the Indians coming up. Look for just, it looks like about 6 inches short. Indians don't jump in the neutral zone, but look for a quarterback sneak by Foster here on the fourth and short. With 7 minutes left to go in the third, Indians lead by 10, 22-12. Indians wait for the change to get set. It's going to be fourth down and 6 inches, less than a yard for the Bulldogs of Waverly.
Watch for that little weird snap the ball and nobody else move play.
Foster up to the line of scrimmage, split back formation, and quarterback sneak. Boy, almost movement as the left tight end almost wasn't set. He was still moving. It's going to be a first down for the Bulldogs on the quarterback sneak. As he gains one, it's going to be first and 10 for the Bulldogs. Ball at the Indians' 19-yard line. 17-yard line? Announcer says 17-yard line. I can't tell. It's to be about the 19-yard line.
That's what it looks like to me is 19.
First and 10 for the Bulldogs at the Indians' 19. Wilson splits out wide to the right. Foster in the pistol. Set to his right is Lehman. He's going to roll out to the right. Looks to pass. Going to throw it deep. Has Wilson back there, but it's picked off by Wilson or by Hayden Smith.
Hayden Smith.
As that ball was
out now, so on the
loose.
ground. Should have went to the ground with it.
And who ended up on it? They haven't signaled yet. And it's going to be Indians.
It's going to be Indians ball,
football,
I believe.
As Hayden Smith picks off that pass down at the 3-yard line as the pass was short. Good hands by Smith. He lost the football, but Dent gets on it. So it's going to be first and 10 for the Indians, pinned deep in their own territory.
But they got the ball. First
and 10 for the Indians from their own 3-yard line. take care of the football down here. 6:16 left to go in the third, 22-12. They stop Waverly. And Waverly was putting together a good drive there as Foster rolled out to his right.
Left that ball float up in the air long enough for Hayden to get under it.
In the pistol is Albertini. 3 slot receivers to his right. Albertini, high snap.
Uh-oh.
It's down in the end zone. Picks it up. He gets out of the end zone across the middle, I believe he did. Boy, just across the goal line to the 1. I don't know about that pistol formation. Albertini on the ground still.
Yeah.
As Adam is down on the ground now, sitting up. It's going to be second down and 13. I guess the Indians had it 1st and 10 from their own 4 as Albertini remains on the ground. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout. We're going to take a 1-minute injury timeout. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back. Albertini to the sideline, now back towards the huddle. On the second down and 13, Albertini high snap. Ends up on the ground in the end zone. He gets out to about the 1-yard line, but he's nicked up on the play. So it'll be second down and 13 from the Indians 1. Albertini's going to stay out this play, so interesting to see if Coach Beechner brings in Landon, Coach Watrick brings in Landon Beechner, the young freshman, or he may put Chandler Bradshaw up under center. I believe that's what he's going to do. Is he's talking to Chandler Bradshaw. I've seen Chandler taking some snaps, so Bradshaw hustles in from the sideline with the play for the Indians. Second down and 13 from their own 1-yard line. Hayden Smith picked off a Foster pass to get the Indians possession of the football, but so far the Indians not able to go
It's like
anywhere.
maybe just a cramp on Albertini, I hope.
Bradshaw up under center. Easton Dent single back set wide to the right is Hayden Smith. Here comes the snap. And ball off the left side. I'm not sure who got it. Somebody might have turned the wrong direction. Easton Dent, I think, ended up with the football, but him and Bradshaw ran into one another. And it's going to bring up a big third down and long for the Indians. And Adam Albertini works right back in. Yeah, I was just hoping it wasn't that knee. I believe it was just a cramp for Albertini. Third down and 12. This is definitely as deep in a game as the Indians has went since the opening game against Sedan.
Yeah, you know, that snap went a little over Adams' head and was kind of on the ground. He knew he was in the end zone, and really not very many things can happen that's good from your own end zone. So
big third down and 13 for the Indians, Mike, at their own 2-yard line. In the pistol again is the Indians. 3-bunch receiver. Albertini takes it. Has a little running room, tries to cut back, spins away, gets the Indians a little bit of breathing room. He's going to be short, well short of the first down. Here's the thing, Mike. This is how many blowouts the Indians has been. I don't even know who St. Paul's punter is. And it is 4th down and 7.
No, I don't either.
And I'll be honest with you, if we have punted, I can count them on 2 fingers.
Yeah.
So this is dangerous territory for the Indians. I hope we got a sleeper in there that is will kick this thing about 65 yards. It is Chandler Bradshaw, stands back in his own end zone. I don't know who the center is either. Good snap. Bradshaw kick is off, spiraling kick. It's going to go out of bounds. It's
see where they marked
going to be great field position for Waverly as that spiraled out of bounds on the Indian side of the football field. It's going to be about the 20, maybe the Looks like about the 22-yard line for Waverly.
This is going to be a big test for the defense here.
The St. Paul's 22, so a short punt by the Indians as that ball spiraled out of bounds. It was almost blocked. There's a little bit of pressure on that right side. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Waverly at the Indians' 22-yard line, I believe. Foster up under center, split back formation, so right back to about where he threw the interception was the line of scrimmage. Option or to the right side, Foster going bottled up there quickly by the Indians. Short gain of the play. Good gang tackle by the Indians on Lehman. It's going to be 2nd down and see where they spot the football. The yard marker not moving very quick. I think they're still trying to get
everything set up over there still.
For the first time, it's going to be 2nd down and 9 for Waverly. Inside the 20 at the 19. They're up to the line of scrimmage. In the I, Lehman at fullback, Wilson at tailback, Foster up under center. Indians defense need to bow up here. Going to run the options to the right. Gives it to Foster off the right side. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down for the Bulldogs. See where they spot the football at. It's impossible to see.
Even about a 3-yard gain, looks like.
It's going to be 3rd down and 4 for Waverly. Getting some good yardage on them dives across the 15 to the 14-yard line. I believe 3rd down and call it 4 for Waverly. In the pistol is Foster. Pope and Wilson wide to the right. He's going to roll back to pass across middle, throw it to the left. It's wide of the intended target, Lehman. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 4 for Waverly as he gunned that football wide of Lehman. And it'll be big 4th down and 4 for the Indians defense here. He does not waste any time rifling that ball down the field, Mike.
No, he's got a strong arm for sure.
For a sophomore, 3:06 left to go here in the 3rd period. Indians up by 10, 22-12. I think Waverly going to call a timeout here, taking all kinds of time in the huddle. A big 4th down for the Indians defense.
The
clock's not running,
yeah,
so I don't know why they're waiting because it's an incomplete pass. But it is a timeout for Waverly. We'll take a timeout. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul, where St. Paul leads 22-12 with 3:06 left to go in the 3rd, but Waverly driving. They have a big 4th down and 4 coming out of this timeout from the Indians' 14-yard line. What do you think they're going to do, Mike? You think they'll run Foster or roll him out and give him a RPO, the run-pass option?
Well, I think they're going to run that sweep that they've had some success with, probably to this side. We'll see, but that's what I would say be the most likely
ball
play.
Spotted right in between the hash marks. Foster is going to be in Foster's going to be in a pistol. Lehman set behind him. Wilson wide to the right. He's going to run the option out. He rolls back to pass across the middle. Looks. And it's going to be caught. And it's going to be a touchdown.
35.
To Waverly to the tight end off the left-hand side.
He came across from the left to the right and kind of a post pattern, and he caught him in stride.
Ran the play action pass and hit his man across the middle and cuts into the Indians' lead. Now the Indians' lead is 22-18. 3 minutes left to go in the 3rd. Foster up under center, split back formation. Wilson to the left, Lehman to the right. Pitches it to Lehman off the right side, trying to get the goal line, cuts back, spun down, short of the goal line. Extra point is no good. So with 3 minutes left to go here in the 3rd period, Indians lead is 22-18. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul football on Hot 105.
That's the same play they scored on in the first half.
Yeah. Welcome back to Miles Field, and a good game here. St. Paul leads by 4, 22 to 18, off the Waverly touchdown from Foster to number 35, about a 6'2", 6'3". He came from the tight end on a weak position on a drag pattern across the field. They ran that play earlier in the ball game.
Scored on both of them.
It's been successful as the Indians haven't covered it either time. It was a big 4th down and 4, and Waverly gets a touchdown. Now, nobody back deep for the Indians as Waverly has kicked it short every time. Hands team on the field. Albertini stands about his own 25-yard line. Now he kind of starts dropping back a little bit as he waits to see. They've run multiple looks out of this kicking game. Pope has the ball teed up. He fakes it, stops. Now the opposite kicker kicks it to the right. It's going to be dropped and fell on by the Indians. Good coverage. Chandler Bradshaw on the football. Great field position for the Indians. 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. 1st down and 10 for the Indians. 3 minutes left to go in the third. They lead by 4, 22 to 18. Hayden Smith comes on the field late. Murillo comes off the field late. 2 receivers wide to the left. Albertini in the pistol. Set to his left is Easton Dent. Here comes the snap. Dent with a handoff at the right side. Tries to get around one guy. Drops the shoulder pad. Good first down gain for Dent and the Indians down to the 35-yard line as Dent rolls off the pile. He's going to gain 8 on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 2 for the Indians as Adam Albertini continues to try to stretch that leg out. Ball spotted right at the Waverly 35-yard line. 2nd down and 2 for the Indians offense. 2 receivers wide to the right. Chandler Bradshaw, Hayden Smith. In the pistol is Adam Albertini. Set to his left is Easton Dent. Here comes the snap. Albertini's going to keep it. It's going to be dodges guy in the backfield, leans towards the 1st down. He's going to have it. If it wasn't for Albertini's good moves, he'd have been stopped in the backfield well short of the 1st down. Instead, he garners a 1st down for the Indians down to the Waverly 32-yard line. 2:14 left to go in the third quarter. Indians up by 4, 22 to 18. Excuse me. 1st down and 10 for the Indians from the Waverly 32. 2 receivers wide to the left, Hayden Smith and Chandler Bradshaw. In the pistol is Albertini. Set to his right is Easton Dent. Here comes the 1st down. It's going to be the option to the right. Pitches it to Dent. Dent finally gathers it in, drops his shoulder pad, leans forward, and barely gets back to line of scrimmage. Excuse me.
Lucky they didn't have big trouble that time. The pitch was behind Dent. He was lucky to get it back in before the defense got to him.
It'll be no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down for the Indians from the 32 of Waverly. 1:25 left to go in the third. Indians up by 4, 22 to 18. 2nd down and 10 at Waverly's 32-yard line. Up to the line of scrimmage comes Stone King. Right guard is Gib Carter. Slot to the right is Dent. Slot to the left is Hayden Smith and Chandler Bradshaw. Now Dent goes in motion. Albertini high snap. It's going to be blown dead. Flag on the play.
Big false start.
False start against the Indians as Murillo trots onto the field. 5-yard penalty against the Indians. It'll make it 2nd down and 15. Now that's going to spot the ball at the Waverly 37. .107 left to go in the third. Indians up by 4. Waverly with a little momentum off their score. Indians need to try to keep things going here on offense. Hard fought offensive game for the Indians so far. 2nd down and 15 at the Waverly 37. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Slot is Dent. Dent goes in motion. Albertini's going to keep it off the left side. Tries to get to the outside, drops his shoulder pad, leans back towards He's going to gain 3 or 4 yards, going to bring up a 3rd down and 12. Not much running room for Adam off that left-hand side. And it's going to be a 3rd down and 12 for the Indians. The stick wasn't moving very quick, so let's make sure there wasn't a flag on the play. Big 3rd down and 12 for the Indians at the Waverly 34-yard line. I would think we'll see if this is 2-down territory or not. I think it probably depends what happens on this down. 13 seconds left to go here in the 3rd period. Indians up by 4. 2 receivers wide to the right. Count is on. Albertini needs to get the snap. Now Dent goes in motion. They get the snap. And it's going to be a delay of game as they did not make it. And that's going to back the Indians back up 5 yards. Going to bring up 3rd down and 16 instead of 3rd down 11.
One of the middle mistakes.
Third and 16. Now the ball spotted back at the Waverly 38-yard line. 3rd and 16 for the Indians as the 3rd period. Albertini in the pistol. Dent goes in motion. Now they're going to stop. Now another flag.
That's going to be another movement.
False start against the Indians. And that's going to back them up. It's going to be 3rd down and 21 on the Indians. Now they're back on their side of the football field.
Indians need to settle down now.
3 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Indians cling to a 4-point lead. But Waverly with all the momentum.
Going the wrong direction.
St. Paul unable to get anything going on offense here of late.
They're back at the 35, 36.
They are on their own side at their own 38-yard line, called the 37. Indians hustle up to the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers wide to the right. In the pistol is Adam Albertini. Set to his left is Easton Dent. Dent goes in motion again from right to left. Albertini's going to drop back to pass. He's going to throw it out here for Dent. Dent catches it. Gets it across down to the 35-yard line. He's going to bring up a 4th down and 13 for the Indians. See what Coach Watrick elects to do when we start the 4th quarter. End of the 3rd quarter, Indians lead 22-18. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. Here's St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field. Chandler Bradshaw in front formation with the 4th and 13 for the Indians. Ball spot to Waverly 38. Punt is away. Better kick by Bradshaw. It's going to bounce. Albertini trying to chase it down.
Did you get it?
And it's going to be a touchback as it goes into the end zone. Albertini tries to chase down, swat it back, but it'll be 1st and 10 for Waverly from their own 15-yard line. Indians defense really needs to bow up and get a stop here, Mike.
Sure
Waverly
do.
with all the momentum, running it right at the Indians.
Indians punted more tonight now than I think they have, at least equal maybe to what they have all season.
And that's just the 2nd punt of the night by the Indians, but Bradshaw gets it away as Waverly 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line. 11:54 left to go in the ball game. Indians cling to a 4-point lead. Waverly scored on their last possession. Motion from right to left is Wilson. Now there's going to be a whistle dead. See if this is a false start against Waverly, and it is. That'll back them up to their own 10. It'll bring up 1st down and 15. Waverly have had some success on the passing game to their tight end, number 35. usually comes from that weak side tight end position. Waverly backed up at their own 10. Indians defense really needs to make something happen here, Mike.
Yeah, they do. They got to really stiffen up, get that ball back quick as they can. Don't let Waverly eat that clock up. Of course, with behind, they're going to have a little urgency. But
first and 15 for Waverly at their own 15. Pope to the right, Wilson to the left, split way out wide. They're going to run the option. Foster's going to keep it. A lot of running room. Bradshaw tackles him from behind, but not until he's way out in front of everybody. Clear up. Going to have a
is there any flags?
20-yard gain, no flags. It's going to be a first and 10 as he just lacked one person. If he would have got by Bradshaw, he would have been off to the races on that option. He got around that left end, and he was off to the races.
Clear out to the 29, isn't he?
First and 10 for Waverly up to their own 29-yard line. Waverly with all the offensive momentum off the feet of Foster. A lot of speed by the young sophomore and a good arm. Two receivers wide to the right is Wilson and Pope. Option again. This time is Lehman off that left-hand side, diving forward. And he's going to have a good gain on the play, gain of 3 or 4 yards on the play up to the 34-yard line. It'll be second down and 6 for the Bulldogs from their own 34. Wilson wide to the right. Foster up under center. Lehman, single back set behind him. Here comes the snap. Option to the right. Foster's going to keep it. Hitting the backfield this time. Well, he leans forward. They blow it dead. He loses the ball. I think they're going to give him positive yardage on this. Going to bring up a big third down. Let's call it third down and 5. A gain of 2 almost. Third down and 4 for the Bulldogs. A lot better job by the Indians. Defense looked to be in the backfield, but Foster does a good job of evading tackles and leaning forward. Big third down and 4 for the Indians defense. Ball spotted at the 36 of Waverly. I formation. Now Wilson goes in motion. Single back set is Foster. He's going back to pass. Looks under a little pressure. Tries to cut back. Gets away from a couple. And he's going to be cut down. He's going to be close to a first down. Good grief, how'd he get away from all the people? And he is going to be spotted for a first down as Foster gets just enough for a first down. Indians had him in the backfield as he dropped back to pass, and he gets away from everyone. And he is into Indian territory. The Indians defense are going to have to straighten their act up here real quick. First and 10 for Waverly into Indian territory.
That's 19 carries for Foster.
Foster in a pistol all by himself this time. Now Wilson goes in motion. He falls loose on the ground, but Wilson, now still loose. And the Indians get on that football.
Yeah, there's a turnover you're needing right there.
Gib Carter, Johnny on the spot, gets the turnover as they ran Wilson into motion. And Wilson, he jumped on it and then lost it. And Gib Carter gets that football back. St. Paul football, first and 10 from their own 38. Now, use those momentum and take it to the Bulldogs where the coach wants an explanation.
The key is take advantage of this break. Coach is arguing that he thought he was down, but he wasn't down when that first came out.
As the umpire is still standing next to the coach talking to him.
Right at midfield.
First and 10 for the Indians. Ball spotted at the Waverly 39-yard line. Indians up to the line of scrimmage. Adam Albertini up under center. Chandler Bradshaw at fullback. Easton Dent at tailback. Here comes the snap. Dent off the left side. Got some running room. Ankle tackled by Foster. Good gain on first down by Easton Dent. Ankle tackle drug him down. Dent gets up a little bit slow as he was draped onto that left ankle of Dent. It's going to be a gain of 5 or 6, game of 5 on the play, second down and 5. Indians down to the Waverly 32. I formation again. Albertini up under center. Boy, they're bringing everybody up to the line of scrimmage is Waverly. Dent again off that left side, tries to lean forward. He dragged down, that time by number 64, Decker. He's going to have a gain on the play down to the 30-yard line. It's going to bring up third down and 2 for the Indians. at the Waverly. Well, third down and 1. Now the ball spotted inside in the 30 at the 29 of Waverly. 8:38 left to go in the game. Indians up by 4, 22-18. Albertini back up under center. Dent goes to fullback. Chandler Bradshaw at tailback. Here comes the snap. Option to the right. Albertini's going to keep it. Leans forward, has the first down as he follows Dent through that belly option hole down to the 22-yard line. First and 10 for the Indians, down to the Waverly 22. 8:20 left to go in the game. First and 10 for the Indians at 22. Need to punch this football in there the last 22 yards against Waverly and get this lead back out to 10 or 12.
Keep that clock running, grind it out, get some points on the board here.
First and 10 for the Indians down to the Waverly 22. In the pistol is Albertini. Slots to the right and left is Bradshaw and Dent. Good snap. Albertini's going to keep it. Starts off the left-hand side. Runs through. Good tackle made by Decker on Albertini. Short gain of the play. Gain of about 1. Second down and 9 for the Indians. Ball now right at the 20-yard line of Waverly. Second down. Let's give him a gain of 2. Second 8 for Albertini. 7:33 left to go in the ball game. Albertini up to the line of scrimmage in the pistol. Dent and Bradshaw set ahead of him to the right and left. Albertini awaits the snap. It's a good snap. He's going to try it off the right side. Following Dent. Cuts back to the middle. There's a flag as Albertini runs in for the Indians touchdown. But we have a flag back at the 20-yard line. Thrown by the side judge.
It'll be a hold.
Holding against the Indians. They're going to back them up 10 yards.
Man.
I haven't seen a holding penalty on Waverly all night long.
No.
And that's about the 5th one against the Indians. It'll be second down. That's a spot foul. The flag thrown back at the 20-yard line. It'll be second down and 18 for the Indians. Now they back up. Now they got some work to do here. That was thrown by the side judge, too. You don't see that very often. Well, I guess it was the back.
Backs him out to the 30.
Judge. Second down and 17, spot foul. At the 30, Albertini in the pistol. Set to his right is Dent. Second and 17. Option. Dent's got some running room. Cuts back, leans forward. He's going to gain 5 yards back. He's going to bring third down and 12. Boy, Waverly closes quickly on that as Dent looked to have some room to run. A big third down and 12 for the Indians coming up. Down to the Waverly 25-yard line. 6:48 left to go in the game. Indians cling to a 4-point lead.
Indians really going to need to convert here, keep this drive alive, especially after they missed out on the opportunity to put some points on that score.
Albertini in the pistol. In front of him is Dent and Bradshaw. Here comes the snap. Good snap. Albertini's going to try off the right side. Tries to get to the outside. One man to beat. Beats him. 10, 5. He has the first down, but knocked out of bounds at the 5-yard line. There's that first down we needed, Mike.
That's what they need to do, get Albertini to the outside.
And it's going to be first and goal for the Indians from the 5. No flags this time as the Indians down to the Waverly 5-yard line. First and goal for the Indians from their own 6. Now go ahead and punch this in there. Chandler Bradshaw needs to hustle up with the plays at Coach Watrick. He gets in there, first and goal for the Indians.
Get up there and get this play run.
Taking a lot of time in the huddle, need to hustle up. The hand's already in the air.
They're going to have to call a timeout.
And the pistol is Albertini. Count is on. Takes the snap.
Yep, they didn't make it. There's no reason for them not to be able to get in there and get that play run.
Everybody's seen it coming. It took way too long to get the play in. Should have called either way. It's going to be first and goal from the 11 and backs them up 5 yards. The Indians now backed up to the 11 of Waverly. 6:22 left to go in the game. 22-18. Indians up by 4. That's a tough penalty to take.
That's tough.
There's been multiple of them tonight. Albertini in the pistol. Dent set to his left. Slot to the left is Bradshaw. Albertini takes a high snap. He's going to keep it himself. Cuts back to the middle. He's going to lean Down back towards the 5. Now they back the spot. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Aberdeen gets up hobbling.
As the ball spotted now inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 9. Dent comes in from the side line from Coach Watrick with the play. 2nd and goal from the 9. Albertini in the pistol again. He hobbled back there, but he's a gamer. He's going to keep it off the right side this time. Tries to cut back. He's drugged down.
Well, you really see him favoring that, whatever it was.
And it's going to bring up a 3rd down and goal for the Indians. Ball is no gain on the play, so it's 3rd and goal from the 9. Boy, that delay of game penalty from the 1st and goal from the 6 was just a killer for the Indians. 5:20 left to go in the game. 22-18. The Indians up by 4. I formation. Chandler Bradshaw at fullback. Easton Dent at tailback. Adam Albertini up under center. 3rd and goal from the 9. Hand off to Dent off the left side. Dent with some running room towards the goal line. Touchdown, Indians.
Good
Easton
run.
Dent. Good, hard 9-yard touchdown run. Good blocking by the line of scrimmage. And the Indians get back out to a 10-point lead, 28-18. It wasn't looking favorable for the Indians, but Easton Dent with a hard run off that left side gets into the end zone for the Indian touchdown. Bradshaw comes in from the sideline with the extra point. Albertini in the pistol. Dent set to his right. Chandler Bradshaw slot to the right. Look for that option. See if he hands it to Dent. High snap. Football's on the ground. Albertini picks it up. Now he's rolling. Throws it late. It's caught by Dent. Dent towards the goal line.
Got in there.
Oh, extra point is
close.
no good as he was right at it.
Close.
Boy, that was an ad-lib play as Albertini just shot-putted that ball forward to Dent. Dent hustling for the line or for the goal line, could not quite make it. St. Paul maintains a 10-point lead, 28-18. 4:57 left to go in this game. We'll be back after a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul. A good one here, folks. 28-18. Indians up by 10. $4:57 left to go here in the game. Murillo tees the ball up at the 30.
Well, the Indians fortunate to be able to still get in there and put those points on the board, score that touchdown after they got so close and they had it, and then the penalty really cost them. Just a mental mistake not getting in there and getting that play run in time.
4:57 left to go here in the ball game. Indians up by 10. Waverly can score quickly here. Murillo drives the football down. Foster chases it, bounces at 10. He's going to let it roll down to the goal line, picks it up to the 5, 10, 15, and is tripped up about the 16, 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for Waverly from their own 17. Indians defense takes the field.
Clock's on the Indian side here. They really need to.
4:52 left to go in the game. A lot of time left to go in the game. Indians 10-point lead. They need another good defensive stand or cause a turnover down here in Waverly's territory.
Turnover here would be big.
Wilson Smith fired up, ready to go. Up under center looks to be Foster. Lehman at fullback. Wilson at tailback. Here comes the snap. He's going to hand it to Wilson off the left side. Looking for some run room. Gets around the end, and he's going to be drugged out of bounds. A good gain on 1st down as 2 Indians down on the opposite side. Looks like Bradshaw and Albertini. He's going to have a good 9-yard gain on the play. And it's going to be second down and 1. Now spotted at the 24-yard line, I believe. Second down and short, less than 1. His clock is stopped as Wilson went out of bounds as they got to the edge. They have had some success getting to the edge. Wilson and Foster both with a lot of speed, as well as Lehman. Foster up under center. Lehman at fullback, Wilson at tailback. Now Wilson goes in motion, option to the left. He's going to hand it to Lehman. He's going to have the first down on a good 3 or 4 yard gain, maybe giving a game of 5 or 6 up across the 29 as they stop it to set the chains. 4:34 left to go in the game. Indians up by 10, 28-18. Now the clock starts. 4:30 and counting. In the huddle is Waverly. First and 10 for the Indians. Ball at the 30. Coach Watrick pleading his defense to get fired up and do something here. Wilson wide to the left. Foster is in the pistol. Lehman set to his right. Now Wilson goes in motion from right to left. Here comes the snap. It's a good snap. It's going to run the option. Shovel pass to Wilson up the middle. And Wilson hit by
the ground. There's a turnover.
Who's on it?
I think the
Indians are fighting for it. I think Wilson Smith with a good hard hit as they're still fighting for it down at the pile. No signal yet. No signal. Drag it out of there, whoever's in the maroon jersey.
This is where the work
Rip
happens.
it away from them. Don't let nobody have it. Don't give it up.
I think it's going to be the Indians.
They still haven't signaled whose football it is, as I'm not sure. Get up Easton Dent was down there battling for it. I believe it.
No signal yet.
Still not a signal. I think it is going to end up Waverly's football. Good hit by Wilson
You know,
Smith.
that's one of those deals. They're going to, the bottom of that pile, I think the officials got out there, a tie goes to the runner, and they just let them keep it.
Waverly maintains possession. Second down and 11, loses yard from their own 29. 3 bunch set to the right. Indians defense fired up, back to pass, looking across the middle, going to throw it deep. Nobody back there, and falls incomplete as intended for Wilson. Adam Albertini tried to chase it down and couldn't. It'll be third down and 11 for Waverly from their own 29-yard line.
We were cheering for him, Dan. We was trying to help.
3:41 left to go in the game. Indians up by 10 in a battle here tonight against Waverly. We knew Waverly had played some stiff competition, and it's showing here tonight as they are battle tested, and the Indians have not been. They're holding their own, though. Indians lead by 10, 28-18, 3:41 left to go in the ball game. Wilson wide to the right.
Pass.
Foster's going to roll out to the left, throwing deep for Wilson. He's back behind everybody, but he overthrows as Chandler Bradshaw was on the coverage, and it's going to bring up fourth down and 11. Look for that tight end drag pattern here, Mike. On a fourth down 11, they had some success with it. See who picks up that tight end. A lot of times he don't go out on a pass route, and I think that's why he's been so wide open when he does. Nobody picks him up, and it's going to be a timeout, Waverly. So with that timeout, we're going to take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. .336 left and go to game. Indians up by 10, 28-18. Waverly with the football at their own 29-yard line. A fourth down and 11 coming up. See if the Indians can step up and hold Waverly.
Indians hold here. That could be all they need if they can hang on to it then. Be a big play the game here.
3:36 left to go. Austin O'Hara in the ball game for the Indians. Try to get a little pressure on Foster. Undoubtedly going to give him the RPO run pass option. They have ran this drag pattern to the tight end off the left side. He's going to line up on the left side. Need to watch him. Pope lines up to the right as well as Lehman and Wilson. Foster is in the pistol. Oh,
He
there's
moved,
a flinch. That should be a flag.
He
How's
moved.
that not a flag? He rolls to his left. He's going to sprint out there. Gib Carter rips him down. Oh, no, he does rip him down. And he's short on the play. And it'll be first and 10 for the Indians. He's well short of the first down.
Boy, they missed that. He moved.
Boy, the tight end, Coach Watrick, was just livid as the tight end on the left side flinched in his stance and no call. I don't know how you don't see that. It's going to be first and 10 on the Indians. Either way, good defense by the Indians. Foster rolled to his left. Nobody to throw to, and Gib Carter rips him down after a 3 or 4 yard gain, but that was well short of the 11 they needed. St. Paul leads 28-18, 3:29 left to go in the game. Albertini up to the line of scrimmage. Chandler Bradshaw at fullback. Easton Dent at tailback. First and 10 for the Indians at the Bulldogs 31. Dent off the left side, drops his shoulder pass.
Ball's
loses
on the
the
ground,
football,
playing out there,
and
and
it
the
gives
turnover.
it right back to Waverly.
Man.
As Dent rolls over on his back, he could be banged up on the play, and I believe he is as he gets up off the pile. He's got to be upset with himself and gives it right back to the Bulldogs. Easton dropped his shoulder pad running hard on the play, but the ball popped loose and Waverly jumps right back on it.
Easton's another one you don't see dropping the ball very often.
First and 10 for Waverly at their own 27-yard line. So the Indians defense had to go right back at it again. 3:24 left to go in the game. A lot of time left. Indians had a chance to burn some clock and give it right back to the Bulldogs. Foster in the pistol. One receiver wide right and left. Now motion is Lehman. Goes almost out of bounds. Foster rolls out. Wilson Smith in chase. Foster going to pull it down. Smith rips him down. Good job by Wilson Smith. Pulls Foster down. He's going to have is it a sack? It is going to be a sack because it's a loss of 1 on the play. Second down and 11 for the Bulldogs. Now backed up to their own 27-yard line.
Wilson Smith coming back off of that injury, first game back, and making a difference here late in the game.
Second down, 11 from their own 27. Foster in the pistol. Set behind him is Lehman. Wide to the right is Wilson. Wilson goes in motion from right to left. He's going to roll out to the left, looking down the field deep. Nobody there. There's that drag pattern by the tight end. But this time it was well overthrown. Stops the clock. 2:38 left to go in the game. Indians lead by 10. Turnovers and penalties are going to be the story of tonight if St. Paul can find their way through this ball game, Mike, because they've had way too many of both.
That's right.
Third down and 11 for the Indians third down and 11 for the Bulldogs at their own 27-yard line. One receiver wide to the right, one to the left. Foster back to pass, pump fake, going to throw it deep for Wilson in coverage, and he catches his Bradshaw's turn around. Now he gets around by 2. Now by Bradshaw, and he's going to be bottled up at the Indians' 27-yard line. I'd call that a back shoulder pass, but it wasn't. It was just lofted in the air, and Bradshaw just didn't turn around and even see the ball, and that let Wilson come back and catch it. It's going to be first and 10 for Waverly at the Indians' 27-yard line. 28-18, Indians up by 10. Clock running. Wilson wide to the right. Up under center is Foster. Pump fake, going to throw to the tight end. It's going to be picked up by Albertini. Now Albertini up to the 15 and tripped up when he crosses the 27-yard line. There was that little pop pass to the tight end, number 35, and Albertini picks that off the fingertips and returns it up to the 27. Now take care of the football, Indians, and let's get out of here.
Protect the ball
with
the name of the game.
St. Paul leads by 10, 28-18, 2:10 left to go in the ball game. First and 10 for the Indians from their own 22-yard line. Indians hustle up to the line of scrimmage. Adam Albertini's going to be in the pistol. Bradshaw and Easton Dent up ahead of him. Here comes the snap. It's a good snap. Albertini's going to keep it. It's got some running room. Cross 20, drug down from behind. Good play by number 64, Decker. Called his name quite a bit, the 169-pound senior. Waverly with a timeout. I think it's their Not sure if it's their first one of this half, Mike. Do you keep that? 1:59 left to go in the game.
According to the scoreboard, that's their last one.
28-18, Indians up by 10. We'll go ahead and stay here. It's been a good football game, Mike.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a game here. Coming down to the wire, Indians really fired up out here at the end and having to overcome some mistakes for sure. But now they're in the driver's seat. If they can just get 2 more minutes of good offense here and protect the ball, get out of here with a win. Good, hard-earned win.
4 or 5 turnovers on the night for the
Didn't carry the ball last time, Dan?
Adam Albertini carried
Albertini
it for a 3-yard gain. 2nd down and 7 for the Indians. Back at their own 25-yard line coming out of this timeout. There's one thing good and bad. If St. Paul can move on through this, you can call this a battle tested. I mean, they was favored by a lot against Waverly. Waverly, by far the best football teams the Indians have played, but the Indians have not done a good job of taking care of the football and taking care of themselves. And they'll be the first ones to tell you that. 2nd down and 7 for the Indians. Ball spotted at their 26-yard line. Adam Albertini in the pistol. Chandler Bradshaw trying to get his helmet buckled up. As now they are good to go. In the pistol is Albertini. Good snap. He's going to keep it off the left side. He's got some running room up the middle. Now off to the right. Slips around. Tries to get by Pope. Does. Down the sideline. And slides down.
Good smart play.
Inbounds at the 22-yard line. Real smart play. What Adam don't realize, they're going to stop the clock to reset the change, but either way, he stayed inbound, so as soon as the change gets set, the clock's going to wind, and he's going to be able to run some more timeouts. A good job, Albertini, not caring about stats.
Yeah, that's a really smart play.
Slid down to the ground. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Indians at the Waverly 23-yard line.
35-yard run by Albertini.
Albertini now is going to wait for the back judge to raise his hand this time, or start counting. And he's going to take a knee. 1:20 left to go in the game. Indians lead by 10, 28-18. 40-second clock, so as soon as they spot it, should be able to run this out. It's going to be 2nd down and 11 from the 22-yard line. Albertini back up to the line of scrimmage, waits for the back judge to raise his hand as we are under a minute, down to 55 seconds. Survive and advance is the name of the game here tonight. The Indians survived too many turnovers and too many penalties, and they are going to advance against a very good Waverly team. 28-18 is a 10-point lead for the Indians with 35 seconds, and the Indians are going to advance out of the regional game to the sectional game, which very well could be a home game next week, depending on the outcome of Hanover and Frankfort. And that was a very close game last check. That was still an 8-point game last check. If Hanover wins and advances, they will come to St. Paul. Frankfort wins, the Indians will have to travel to Frankfort. Congratulations, birthday boy, Coach Watrick, as your Indians are going to advance out of the regional game to the sectional game. And Mike's going to have all the post-game show and the post-game stats after this 2-minute timeout. You're in the St. Paul football on Hot 105.
Congratulations to the Waverly Bulldogs for their appearance in the regional football game, the state playoffs. Now for the trophy presentation.
Welcome back as St. Paul comes out victorious 28-18 over the Waverly Bulldogs and advance to the sectional game next Friday night, Mike, at either Miles Field or at Frankfort.
Yeah, not a pretty win, but a win nonetheless for the Indians. Come out of here with a win, like you said, survive and advance. You get to move to the next round, and at this point of the game, or this point of the season, you move to the next round or you go home. Lucky for the Indians, good job tonight getting out of here with a win on your home field, and hopefully they'll get a chance to do that again here. If not, they'll have to travel. Either way, the games don't get any easier, and we'll see who their opponent is next week. Hopefully the Indians clean up some of these mental mistakes, because those are what are going to cost you, especially against good teams. So definitely next week got some things to work on, but they'll be ready to play.
As last check, Hanover led Frankfort 28-18. So if Hanover does go ahead and finish that game off, it was in the fourth quarter. St. Paul will play the defending three-time state champions here at Miles Field and try to give them a little taste of their own medicine when St. Paul went to Hanover last year, try to avenge a big loss at Hanover last year.
Yeah, that'll be a big game either way. And like you said, if they're fortunate enough to get another home game, you want to take every advantage that you can, and getting to play at home is definitely an advantage. When you got good crowds like the Indians draw and good support from the community and the fans, that goes a long ways too to help you coming back if you need to, and just give you that momentum swing sometimes.
I want to thank all our sponsors, Mike. Thank Farmers Bank.
Appreciate everything.
For bringing the live stream, as we'll try to continue that next week at Acacia game at either Frankfort or here at home. I hope it's here at home. Quite honestly, I don't care who we play. You got to beat the best to be the best.
That's right.
We're going to go ahead and take another short break. When we come back from this short break, we'll have Mike's final game stats after this last 1 minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul football on Hot 105. Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul, where St. Paul comes out victorious 28-18. Mike, what do you got for final game stats?
Yeah, hard-fought game by both teams. Saw some of the lowest individual stats for Adam Albertini that we've seen all season. However, he was there to make the big plays when they needed to be made, just like he always does. And the entire team came together when they needed to. Had a couple of hiccups, a couple of times that they needed to pick themselves up, and they did just that. Game numbers at the end of the day, though, for Albertini ended up with 25 carries for 199 yards, just one short of 200. Had 2 rushing touchdowns. He did lose 3 fumbles early in the game, but got that taken care of, and he made the big interception there to seal the deal for the Indians late in the game. So big night for Adam Albertini. He was also 4 of 8 passing for 33 yards. Easton Dent, also a big night for the Indians, 15 carries, 64 yards. Easton had 2 rushing touchdowns. He also committed 1 fumble, so unusual fumble problems for Albertini and Easton Dent. But you know that those 2 players are 2 of the best around, and they'll be able to hopefully come back and take that as a learning experience and hang on to the ball moving forward. In the receiving department for the Indians, Chase Bradshaw ended up with 1 reception for 10 yards. Chandler Bradshaw had 1 for 4 yards. Dent with 2 receptions for 19 yards. And the Indians come through ahead in the turnover. That was the story of the game, really, was turnovers. St. Paul with 4 and Waverly with 5. So St. Paul comes out +1 in the turnover. 4 turnovers, way too many for a team like the Indians, especially against a team like Waverly, and vice versa. So turnovers, I think, big difference in this ball game, and the ability to capitalize and put points on the board after those turnovers.
Great football game here tonight. St. Paul stays in the battle and keeps battling away and ends up coming out victorious 28-18 in a hard-fought football game, as Mike said. You know, we alluded to that St. Paul's turnovers. Mike said Waverly also had 5 turnovers on the night. The football ended up on the ground quite a bit tonight. Sometimes St. Paul recovered some of those fumbles that, you know, didn't even count as turnovers, and so did Waverly. So that was one thing that was really a factor that we didn't think that would be that much of a factor.
Fun game to call, though, fun game to watch, and if you were here, you really got to see a good one. If you got to watch us on the live stream, you got to see a good one, and got our problems worked out on the air. So the overall good night for the Indians, and hopefully they can keep that momentum going into next week.
We apologize that. We sure appreciate Cody back in the studio getting us back on the radio airways. I think we stayed good on the live stream all the way through, so that was good. Little computer freeze-up issue back in the studio, but Cody got her shut down and restarted. Last check, Hanover was leading by 10 over Frankfurt. And if that ends up being like it is, then Hanover will come to St. Paul next Friday night, game time to be announced. So stay tuned on the Acacia website, and I'm sure USD 505 website will put up plenty of information on St. Paul as we hopefully get to host at Miles Field next Friday night. So make sure you come out and support the Indians next Friday night as they come out victorious here against Waverly 28-18. As I said, thank Cody back in the studio. Thanks for Mike for helping me call the game here at St. Paul and Miles Field, where St. Paul comes out victorious 28-18. Everybody drives safe, especially the Waverly folks on their way back home. Join us next Friday night, where St. Paul will host either Waverly or travel to Frankfurt. We'll see you then. St. Paul comes out victorious 28-18. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, Cody. Good job.